Alright, it's that time again. Yep, this time I'll be reviewing the second Tokyo Mew Mew Omnibus and compare it to volumes 3 and 4 of TokyoPop's translation. Just like with the last review, this will be split in parts. Picture quality, characters, the Tokyo Black Cat Girl story, and then the translation and overall score. Since most of the characters have been discussed in the last review, this review will be slightly shorter than the first. Just like how the last omnibus had the covers of volumes 1 and 2, the front and back cover consists of covers of volumes 3 and 4, with Mew lettuce on the front and Mew pudding on the back. And like the last omnibus, the overall picture quality of the covers and pages are a lot cleaner and less cluttered than TokyoPop's version. Starting in volume 3, TokyoPop attempts to try to touch up on the artwork that was erased, but sometimes the touch-ups looked messy and rushed, but it greatly improved in volume 4. But there are still a few small parts that they didn't touch up on. There's also something else I noticed. Kodansha's version mimics the original Japanese text almost exactly. The writing is soft and curvy during normal conversation, and it gets hard and blocky when they shout out attack names. Kodansha also keeps the other tidbits in the word balloon such as hearts and music notes. While TokyoPop kept most of them out in the first 2 volumes, they started to keep most of them in later volumes. One small thing concerning Kodansha's version is that there were a couple of small speech bubbles with no words in them, but one was a sound effect and the other was Aoyama saying Ichigo's name, so nothing really important was missing. And TokyoPop also had speech bubbles missing text as well. Now on to the 2 aliens that were introduced in these 2 volumes, Pie and Tart. I still find it odd that Pie and Tart are correctly spelled like foods, but quiches wasn't. But I won't go ranting on that again since there was probably a good reason for it. For Pie, nothing was really changed about him in either version. All he basically does in these 2 volumes are creating monsters and calculating the chances they have for success. Oh, and he blows up some helicopters when they're trying to destroy the cocoon at Tokyo Tower, so that was pretty cool. Tart was also basically the same in both versions, small, bratty, and likes to call Ichigo an old lady. But I'm sure what you guys are wanting me to address is when TokyoPop made Ichigo call Tart a girl. It turns out that it might not actually be a mistranslation after all, since Kodansha does the same thing. It got me suspicious, so I tried to look up the Japanese version on the manga. Unfortunately, the kanji was too blocky and smooshed together that I couldn't read it very well. So I looked up the same panels in the French and Chinese versions, and guess what? Both of those also have her call Tart a girl, and from what I heard from a couple of other people, some other manga translations did so as well. It's definitely more than just a coincidence, so it seems that Ichigo honestly thought that Tart was a girl at the time, which would make sense to the fact that she didn't spend too much time with him, and in the Japanese version of her fight with him, he refers to himself as Oira, which is sort of a low-class country bumpkin way of saying I, and it can be gender neutral. Not to mention his hairstyle isn't exactly what you would normally see on a boy. So she most likely just guessed, but guessed wrong. It just shows that even a person who's been a fan of this franchise for 9 years could learn something new about it. And now for some minor characters. Volumes 3 and 4 introduce the fat cat that chases Ichigo when she's in cat form. TokyoPop spells his name as Francis, but both the original and Kodansha spell his name as Francois. While their names sound slightly different, their name meaning is the same. So TokyoPop most likely decided to change the spelling to something similar but easier to pronounce. There's an interesting tidbit about Aoyama's dog Raoul. In TokyoPop's version, Raoul is a boy, but according to Kodansha, Raoul is a girl. I guess that would make her jealousy towards Ichigo make more sense, and also makes their cat and dog argument a lot funnier if you pictured them as 2 normal girls fighting over a guy. According to the Australian DVD, Raoul's name was going to be changed to Ralph. If Raoul's really a girl, that would have made things seem kind of awkward. Now time to talk about the story that was Tokyo Mew Mew's prototype, Tokyo Black Cat Girl, which was featured in Volume 4. And in just the title page, Kodansha has already fixed 2 of TokyoPop's mistakes. In the original Japanese version, Hime wasn't meant to mean princess, but it was the main character's first name, so she was supposed to be called Hime Azumi. But due to Hime usually meaning princess and the fact that all the characters refer to her by her last name, TokyoPop understandably assumed that they meant Princess Azumi instead. Unfortunately, they assumed wrong. The other mistake that was fixed was the name of the monsters she fought. In the original Japanese version, they were called Bagu, or alien bugs. TokyoPop most likely confused the katakana for GU with KU, which would explain why they were called Baku in their version. Also, for some strange reason, TokyoPop made Masha say that Azumi's costume will allow her to speak Edo. What was that supposed to mean? That she was going to be able to speak like someone from ancient Tokyo or something? As you can see in the panels before he makes that statement, it looks like Azumi is shocked at how easily she's able to lash out at people. Kodansha fixes this mistake by correctly translating that in order for her to fight better, the suit will make her behave like an Edoko, which is explained in the translator notes as a true-born Tokyo native that's cheerful, headstrong, and has a strong sense of justice. So it's basically saying that the suit will give her the courage to fight. Now, doesn't that make more sense? Another thing that Kodansha did translate more properly was Azumi's attacks. While it's understandable that the translation of her attacks would differ between translators due to some of the kanji written, you have to admit that TokyoPop's totally radical style was very noticeable in their attack translations. Just like before, the Kodansha version is more accurate in translation, but a few of the lines sound a little unnatural, but there's nothing too jarring this time around at least. Kodansha also realized their mistake with Chimera Animal, so starting with this omnibus, the term is now properly translated as Chimera Anima. Volume 4 is also when you see Ichigo shout the transformation phrase for the first time. TokyoPop, along with fan subs, and most official dubs say metamorphosis. This is wrong both grammar-wise and in translation. The katakana the Japanese use for the transformation phrase is supposed to translate as metamorphose. Also, metamorphosis is a noun or the name of the process they're going through. Since they're doing the action, it would be proper grammar to say the verb version of the word, which is metamorphose. Kodansha translates the phrase correctly, while TokyoPop didn't realize their mistake until they translated a la mode. And once again, there were some jokes that were given proper translation in the Kodansha version, even more so than the last two volumes. Here's the first example. In the TokyoPop version, the girls are trying to convince Ichigo to see Aoyama, despite her being scared that something might happen that would reveal her secret. They use Lettuce as an example, saying that even though she couldn't swim, she still jumped into the ocean to save a kid. You then see Pudding say, "So gather your courage and go see him!" But when she says that, you'll notice Lettuce blushing, looking confused, and there's a love letter next to her. This is because in the original and in the Kodansha version, Pudding is trying to think of a Chinese proverb for the situation and ended up saying, "The porpoise that walks around confesses her love." So now Lettuce's reaction makes more sense. Another example is when Aoyama is walking with Ichigo in the rain, and in the original and the Kodansha versions, he comments on the fact that Ichigo is still wearing the bell he gave her. For some weird reason, in the TokyoPop version, he asks Ichigo who gave it to her. That would be you?
I think TokyoPop's Aoyama is a little schizo.
There was also the part where Tart asks Ichigo what's 2 plus 2 and 2 times 2. In the original Japanese version, the answer was a pun, since both the word death and 4 can be pronounced as she. TokyoPop didn't translate the pun, so it looks like Tart was just spouting random math and suddenly saying that he was going to kill her. Kodansha translates the pun and explains it in the translator notes. And TokyoPop went crazy with the slang in these two volumes. While the first two volumes had a few, it was tolerable, but they had way too much fun with them this time around. You'll find lovely gems such as freaking Uber, please, this is 100% totally awesome, or the many times when they say, "Let's kick butt!" The TokyoPop version of the manga is given an older kids rating with the worst thing ever said is crap. The second Kodansha Omnibus has 3 small curses, 2 said by Ichigo and 1 said by Tart, but they're very mild and still not even close enough to deserve the teen rating Kodansha gave it. Just like with TokyoPop's version of the first 2 volumes and the first Kodansha Omnibus, all the side panels and the extra pages at the end of the book are translated. But once again, TokyoPop left one extra out. In the Japanese version of Volume 4, there was an extra that shows both Tokyo Mew Mew and Kodansha's support of the World Wildlife Federation. They also mentioned that 1 yen out of every Kodansha book purchase goes to them. I know 1 yen doesn't seem like much, but it doesn't say 1 yen out of every Mew Mew book, but 1 yen out of every Kodansha book purchase. Since Kodansha sells many other manga such as Sailor Moon, Astro Boy, Gundam, and many other hits, I'm sure that 1 yen per book went a long way. TokyoPop probably didn't translate this tidbit due to it having nothing to do with the purchases of their version. And just like with the last omnibus, Kodansha adds translator notes in the back of the book, but this time they've added a section on what honorifics mean, and even what it means when characters don't use honorifics at all. Now on to the final overall score. Kodansha's version, while making a couple of small text flubs, is still a strong translation as the first omnibus, and they even fixed some of their previous mistakes. And while the artwork touch-up in TokyoPop's version gotten slightly better, the overall quality of the story went down a bit due to all the slang they decided to add to it. So in comparison to the original Japanese version, and judging by the ups and downs of each book, for this time around, I'll have to give TokyoPop's version a 6.5, and Kodansha's version still gets a 9. So if you don't have a copy,
get one now or God Ichigo will devour your soul.
And for those of you who don't know, the third omnibus, containing the last 3 volumes of the first series, is scheduled to be released on April 24th. So make sure you buy it when it comes out or pre-order your copy now. Well, this is it for this review, but I'll be making another review when the next book comes out. So see you then!